Good evening and welcome to Primetime News with your #1 news provider Newsfirst on MTV and Shakti TV. A very good evening, I'm Mahina Bonzo.
Good evening, I'm Shahin Paddy. We start off the look at tonight's headlines.
It is my purpose to move forward, uniting all forces on behalf of the country. A statement from the President.
Mama වේගවත් ගමනක් ආ කෙනෙක් නෙවෙයි ඉදිරි යන ගමන වේගවත්ව යන කෙනෙක් නෙවෙයි මම සෙමින් ගමනක් යන කෙනෙක්. ඒ යන සෙමින් ගමන මං ආපසු හරවන්න කිසිසේත්ම ලෑස්ති නැහැ.
Proposal to increase the size of the cabinet to be presented to Parliament tomorrow. New cabinet to take oaths on the 4th. Supreme Court determines that there is no justifiable cause to arrest Tiranalis. Paddy storage commences at the Matale airport. Protesters, including area residents, express displeasure.
On to those stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena says that his objective is to rally all forces and move forward for the sake of the nation. Addressing the 64th anniversary celebration of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, President Sirisena said that he has no plans to backtrack on his journey.
The 64th anniversary celebration of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was held under the patronage of the party's leader, President Maithripala Sirisena, at the Kanduruwala Rajaratanavodya Stadium in Polonnaruwa. A large group, including the party's General Secretary, patrons, senior vice presidents, party seniors, frontline members and activists were in attendance for the celebration. Performances showcasing the culture of the Rajarata added colour to the event. Addressing the gathering, President Sirisena made clarifications on the future of the SLFP.
All of us who stood together on stage at the 63rd anniversary celebration are here together once again at the 64th anniversary. This brings good tidings not only for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party but also for the political future of the entire nation. We must change politics in our country to ensure that our motherland is revived and is second to no other country in the world. Just as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has identified and faced the challenges of various eras, both political and economic, once again we must identify the challenges before us. I respectfully extend the hands of brotherhood to all of you and invite you with arms wide open to build a strong Sri Lanka Freedom Party in this country.
ගෞරවයෙන් මගේ දෑද්දිව් කර ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා. ජයග්‍රහණයක් කරා යන්නට ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්නට අපි
In order to achieve victory and to form a government, we must bear a pure and beautiful political child. Just as we have governed the country for over 20 years and are now providing leadership for the new government, the SLFP must undergo complete reorganization in order to achieve our future goals.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය පූර්ණ ලෙස ප්‍රතිසංවිධානයක් කිරීම ඉතාමත් අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා.
The President also commented on his vision.
වර්තමාන ජනාධිපතිවරයා ලෙස ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ
When criticisms are levelled at my work as the President and as the Chairman of the SLFP, I must state clearly that I am not a person who has come on a rapid journey. My future journey will not be speedy either. I journey at a slow and deliberate pace and I am not prepared to backtrack on this journey. I am attempting to bring all of you, the entire nation, the people and all the political forces together on this slow journey and to take the country forward.
එක ගමනක් සඳහා රට වෙනුවෙන් ගමන් කරන්නටයි මම උත්සාහ ගන්නේ.
The General Secretary of the SLFP, Dumila Dissanayake, also spoke at the event.
පහුගිය මාස 17 වෙනිදා අද සැප්තැම්බර් මාස 2 වෙනිදා
We have come from the 17th of August to the 2nd of September. But we have given a message to the entire nation today that although we face some decline in August, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party is prepared under your leadership to provide leadership to the entire nation and move forward on this journey. This is the strength of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. When Mr. Bandaranaike said back then that a flowing river cannot be turned back, this is the message he was speaking about. I must remind you that no matter who tries to divide the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, today on this stage we are sending out the message that we can never be divided and splintered.
Sri Lanka නිදහස් පක්ෂය කවුරු බෙදන්න හදුවත් මේ පක්ෂය බෙදන්න මේ පක්ෂය කෑලි කරන්න බෑ කියන පණ තමයි අද මේ වේදිකාව දෙන්නේ කියන එක අපි මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
Professor Sarath Vijayasuriya delivered the keynote address at the SLFP's 64th anniversary celebration.
I wish to make several requests on this important occasion. We do not see any public base or intelligence among the parties that have surrounded the SLFP today and are claiming heritage to a political force. All that has happened is that such people have used SLFP votes to build up their own images. It is the prime responsibility of President Maithripala Sirisena to save the Sri Lanka Freedom Party from this unfortunate situation.
Now, as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party celebrates 64 years since its inception, News First looks into the history of the party.
Founded on a day like today by the 4th Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, SLFP Bandaranaike, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was created on the basis of the Panchamaha Balavegaya of 5 great forces. Within a short span of time following its inception, SLFP Bandaranaike was successful in making the party one of main opposition parties in the country. In 1956, SLFP Bandaranaike was elected Prime Minister after the Sri Lanka Freedom Party contested the general election together with several other parties as one powerful force under Mahajana Eksat Peramuna and won. However, Bandaranaike's life was cut short as he was assassinated, making the future journey of his party riddled by challenges. Later, it was his widow wife, Sirimavo Bandaranaike, who took on the reins of the party. Sirimavo Bandaranaike, who was determined to carry on the program of her late husband, received the honour of being elected as the first female Prime Minister in the world. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party was successfully able to hold power in government in the elections 1960, 1965, 1970 and 1977. The party, which faced numerous hardships after the year 1977, was given new strength and hope in 1994 by the daughter of SWRD and Sirimavo Bandaranaike, Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, who went on to be elected the nation's president. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party turned to new avenues with Mahinda Rajapaksa, who won the 2005 presidential election, being appointed as the leader of the party. The Rajapaksa regime was successful in ending the 30-year-long civil conflict in the country and brought honour to the history of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. In January 2015, Maithripala Sirisena made another landmark stride in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party's history upon his victory in the 2015 presidential election. Incidentally, President Maithripala Sirisena, who served as General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party for a period of 13 years, was appointed as its leader. Maithripala Sirisena, who was born the very next day the SLFP was created, has now taken over the responsibility of ensuring a successful journey of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is now tasked with the responsibility of establishing good governance and to ensure the prosperity of the nation.
A number of religious ceremonies were held at places of religious worship across the Polonnaruwa district to mark the 64th birthday of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The all-night Pirit chanting ceremony, which was held at the sacred grounds of the Somavati Chaitya last night, was jointly organized by Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti. A number of religious ceremonies, including the offering of milk rice, was held this morning at the historical Somavati Chaitya.
The people of this country know that Sirasa always stands for the poor. When a disaster strikes the poor, Sirasa is there to assist them. That is a known fact and is something that is very popular among the people of Sri Lanka. That is why the people love Sirasa. You might be unaware of it, but compared to other channels, Sirasa is the channel which is most watched by the people. Sirasa is ingrained in the hearts of the people. This is because Sirasa always does what is good.
A Pirit chanting ceremony was held in line with the President's birthday at the premises of the Rankot Vehera in Polonnaruwa. A holy mass was held at the Palugas Dammanil Catholic Church to invoke blessings on the President. A Hindu religious festival was held at the Hindu Kovil on the banks of the Manampitiya River. Islamic religious observances were also held at the Kandruwala Juma Mosque.
Welcome back to the news. Leader of the House, Lakshman Kiriyala, assumed duties today.
Leader of the House, Lakshman Kiriyala, who assumed duties this morning at his office situated in the parliamentary complex, was quizzed by journalists regarding the new government.
We can form a government as a standalone party, but there are a number of issues that we are facing in the country and we cannot find solutions to these issues alone. We need a constitutional amendment if we are to provide a solution to the conflict in the north and the east, and for that we need a two-thirds majority. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the United National Party need to unite in order to face international challenges. Only then can we save our country and save the members of the tri-forces.
Journalists also questioned Kiriyala regarding the composition of the cabinet.
Following the passage of the 19th Amendment, if the cabinet is to consist of more than 30 members, parliamentary approval needs to be sought. This is what we are trying to do tomorrow. The cabinet can be appointed only after approval is obtained. In truth, I do not know about the size. I only know about what I will be receiving. The rest is unknown to me. The Prime Minister will select the ministerial portfolios assigned to the UNP, while the President will select those for the other side. I think most of it has been completed. Some are cut off, some are added. I do not know about that. However, the Prime Minister made it clear from the beginning that the United National Party will not select any candidate who has been defeated to the national list.
Chief Government Whip Kayantha Karunatilaka expressed these views on the swearing-in of the cabinet.
Keeping in line with the Constitution, as a government, we will put forward a proposal tomorrow to obtain approval to increase the size of the cabinet and form a national government. We now know that the cabinet of the new national government will take their oaths on the morning of the 4th. Through this, we will be creating a new political culture in this country.
JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa had this to say in response to the views expressed by Leader of the House Lakshman Kiriyala on the formation of a national government and the allocation of ministries.
No party has received the required 113 seats. The UNP has received 106 seats and the alliance has 95 seats. Although Lakshman Kiriyala says that a national government needs to be formed to face international pressures and solve international challenges, there is no such need. We call on them not to use this opportunity for political horse trading and to form a government that will do justice to the mandate granted by the people. He has said that in the allocation of ministries, the Prime Minister will select the ministers of the UNP and the President will select the ministers of the SLFP. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution states clearly that the number of ministers must be limited to 30 and that the number of non-cabinet ministers must be limited to 40. This number, 30, has been formulated on the basis that 30 ministers are enough to run the country. If they are going to increase the number of ministers while adding more parties, then it is simply a matter of giving privileges to people connected to the government and has nothing to do with rebuilding the country. Now we can see that within 2 weeks of the election, both of these parties are already preparing to violate the people's mandate.
Deputy Speaker Thilanga Sumadipala called on the chief prelate in Kandy today after paying homage to the sacred tooth relic.
The Deputy Speaker first visited the sacred temple of the tooth relic and then called on the chief prelate of the Mayawati chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thero.
These things must be done together. Both of you have governed intermittently for several years and many say that nothing has come of it. Now that you are both together, you can correct this by doing something.
Sumatipala then called on the chief prelate of the Askari chapter, the most venerable Galgama Sri Attadasi Thera.
The opposition leader has not been appointed and it was mentioned in the newspapers today that it would be good if Sambandhan was appointed as opposition leader. There must be harmony between the communities. We must live together with everyone. That does not exist anymore.
No, Reverend. Even those who were connected to the LTT contested the election and were defeated. The people there too are not thinking on extremist lines anymore. Reverend, isn't it wise for us to work together with them now?
The Deputy Speaker expressed these views to the media following the visit.
There has been a delay of 7 to 8 days because the people have not experienced such a situation before. On the other hand, no party has received a majority. The national government will receive the approval of Parliament tomorrow and the cabinet will certainly be sworn in the day after.
In a letter addressed to the President, former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Chandra Jayaratne, says that an effective risk management process is essential to realize the vision of the new government.
In his letter, Chandra Jayaratne says that civil society cautions that an effective risk management process, independently carried out by a competent multidisciplinary professional team led by a like-minded leader, is essential to realize the vision of the new government. He adds that the structures and processes of risk management must be embedded within the governance framework and must have the capability to identify and assess the likelihood of any high risks crystallizing during the governance process. He notes that the risk management capability should in addition prior identify and develop mitigation action options, and effective management action plans must also be in place with essential capability and resource backing and in a state of readiness to be brought out to face the likely challenges. No sooner the dedicated risk management team deems it is essential that such plans must be activated.
Take a look at one of our headline-making stories this evening. The Supreme Court determined today that there was no reasonable or justifiable cause to arrest former chairman of the Reconstruction and Development Agency, or RADA, Tiran Alas, on charges of alleged financial fraud at RADA. The Supreme Court reached this decision after taking into consideration a fundamental rights petition filed by Tiran Alas.
The fundamental rights petition filed by Tiran Alas was taken up for consideration by a 3-member bench consisting of Chief Justice K. Sripavan and Justices Rohini Marasinghe and Eva Vanasundara. The bench ordered that the status quo be maintained until examination of the petition be concluded. The petition cites several individuals, including the Inspector General of Police, Attorney General, and Police Superintendent Mewan Silva of the Special Investigation Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department as respondents. The Supreme Court decided to examine the petition today after taking into consideration the objections filed by the Attorney General and written submissions. The petition will be taken up for examination again on the 19th of October. Tiran Alas was represented by President's Counsel Romesh De Silva and attorneys Sugat Caldera and Manjuka Fernando Pule, while Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda represented the Attorney General.
An order was issued not to arrest me until the case is concluded. This is a historic decision. I consider this as a decision given on behalf of the innocent, poor people of this country at a time when personal revenge is being taken from politicians and other officials in order to see them languish in prison. I believe this decision solidifies the faith and respect placed by the people in the courts and the legal system of our country. Lodging complaints based on certain personal reasons or with the intention of inconveniencing a person, in turn only inconveniences the law of the country, the fundamental rights of the people and the government. We saw similar incidents in the recent past. A similar complaint was lodged against Salya Vikramasuriya. However, he was later released by court. Thereby, I believe that causing mental and physical distress to an individual through such actions is not conducive for a country such as ours, where good governance prevails.
18 politicians and several monks appeared before the Colombo Magistrates Court today for allegedly holding a protest rally opposite the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. They were brought before courts for disregarding a court order issued by the Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilipitia on the 22nd of April.
The Cinnamon Gardens police report stated that the incident that took place in front of the commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption was recorded on video, adding that the footage is being subject to further scrutiny. Attorneys representing the suspects stated in court today that 99% of the suspects present today were parliamentarians. They requested thereby that their clients be asked to appear in court again only when investigations are completed. Considering the submissions made, the magistrate noted that the previous order requiring all suspects to appear before court once a month would be withdrawn. However, they were ordered to be present in court on the 14th of December.
The police have only submitted a B report of the investigation that was conducted. Therefore, they were requested to submit a complete report on the investigation. Today is the 64th anniversary of our party. We are celebrating our anniversary in Polonnaruwa. But as law-abiding citizens, we have come to face charges of contempt of court. As law-abiding citizens, it's far more important to exhibit our status than celebrate our anniversary. Therefore, we decided to come to Hulsdorf rather than go to Polonnaruwa.
Welcome back. You're watching News First. In developing news, the storage of paddy at the Matala International Airport commenced today. However, a group including area residents showed their displeasure regarding the new directive to store paddy at the airport.
A fleet of trucks carrying paddy from the Tissamaharama and Yodakandia areas arrived at the premises of the Matala International Airport at around 10:30 this morning. A large group protested as the first truck neared the Matala International Airport. The group protested blocking the entrance road to the airport and halting the movement of the fleet of trucks. As the protest grew, staff at the Matala International Airport took measures to move the security equipment of the warehouses as well as the firefighting equipment to safer locations. One of the protesters climbed atop the water tank of the airport to show his displeasure at paddy being stored at the airport. However, the protesters gradually dispersed and storage of paddy continued under police protection.
We are working on a temporary conditional agreement on the basis that the warehouse will be returned to them. It appears that the reason for this protest is that everyone is saying that paddy is being stored at the Matala airport, that we are attempting to destroy the airport. We conducted inspections. The paddy is not being taken to areas with sensitive equipment. We are only using a large area that would otherwise be used for storing baggage.
Welcome back. Day 2 of the Defence Seminar 2015 got underway in Colombo today. Themed as national security in the context of emerging global threats, the Defence Seminar saw the participation of scholars, intellectuals, policymakers and military leaders drawn from more than 40 countries.
Day 2 of the seminar was held under the topic Non-Military Threat to National Security.
What is the difference between a leader, a political leader, and a real statesman? And there were three leaders who I really thought achieved statesmanship. The first was Nelson Mandela. The second, who I think achieved that statesman-like level, was Lee Kuan Yew. And the third person I have chosen is Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. So what do we see in these three leaders? They had the deep security, deep inner sense of security, to be able to transcend their egos and to be able to put their country and their people before their own ideology and before themselves. If we really examine ourselves at an individual level and how we relate with each other or with one country to another, if we treat each other with respect and dignity, irrespective of race or religion, if we ensure that the strong do not oppress the weak, if we respect each other's human rights, values, sovereignty, and territorial integrity without imposing our own values and our own ideology. And if we ensure socio-economic justice, then we'll have little to fear, ladies and gentlemen, because then we will derive and gain all the security that we yearn and crave for.
The Lanka Alzheimer's Foundation held an event in view of World Alzheimer's Month in Colombo yesterday. The event saw the launch of the dementia-friendly program, where stickers and bracelets designed to assist patients suffering from dementia in the event they suffer from memory loss were distributed to its members and volunteers. This initiative is held to develop and create dementia-friendly communities and create awareness on Alzheimer's.
And that is a wrap of News First Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching. I am Shahin Jirampati.
And I am Mahina Bongzo. Good night.